Welcome to Fireside Giants. My name is Alex with my co-host here, Anthony Rivardo, back at it with another New York Giants video. Today we're talking about the tight ends, and specifically Kelvin Biscuit Boy Benjamin, trying to get back into the game. That was a great nickname off the top of my head. Easy E, Evan Almighty. I don't know. You guys drop your nicknames for Evan Engram. It's going to be, I know half of them are going to be Evan Drops, E Drops, or something involving drops or tipped passes or interceptions. Easy interception, maybe. That's actually not a bad one. But we're talking about the tight ends today, guys. This group that the Giants really overhauled this year and how they're going to be better in the red zone, how they're going to utilize these tight ends to maximize their offensive efficiency and production. And I'm excited to see, how they translate over to live games, because adding guys like Kyle Rudolph, we know he's a very refined red zone target, a 6'6" guy who has 40 red zone touchdowns. Evan Engram, keep him away from the center of the field, keep him away from hook and curl routes, push him up the seams, push him vertically. We're going to talk about that and his problems, how we think he can overcome them. A little bit of Benjamin, Kelvin Benjamin, see if he's actually capable of being somewhat adequate. Maybe if he's a receiver, if he's a tight end, can the guy block? Who really knows these things? Discuss that. Caden Smith, my love. I feel so bad for him. He's getting buried behind these guys, and Levine Toilolo. Everyone forgets about Caden Smith, but I wish they would keep him over Levine Toilolo personally. I know Toilolo is kind of a run-stopping, tight end, but I think Caden Smith is adequate in that category and can become more of a pass catcher, and he's cheap as freaking hell, so might as well stick with him over Toilolo. But Anthony, before we dive into tight ends and kind of what they represent for us now, how we're going to utilize them moving forward this upcoming year, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing real good, and I have one word to really describe the tight end room for the Giants: depth. I think the Giants have a lot of quality depth at tight end, finally, right? Behind Evan Engram in the past, whenever he was injured, we were basically playing undrafted free agents I guess he's a 6th-round pick, I believe, or 7th-round pick, Hayden Smith, just late-round guys, undrafted guys. Those became our tight ends. Guys like Rhett Ellison, who really shouldn't be starters. Those who were the guys who, when Evan Engram kept getting hurt, kept elevating to the starting position. Well, I think the Giants feel a lot more comfortable with who they have at tight end now. They've got Evan Engram behind him. Kind of technically starting with him is going to be Kyle Rudolph. And then, of course, they've got their blocker, Levine Toilolo. He's a nice, solid run blocker. I don't think that he really provides anything in the passing game at all. But, he's out there. He can throw some blocks. And, of course, I still do like Caden Smith. I think that he is a solid player. I agree with Alex's analysis of him. And, of course, Biscuit Boy Benjamin, as Alex just donned him that new nickname, Kelvin Benjamin. Let's see what he can do. I'm very intrigued by him. He's a guy who had a lot of talent coming out of FSU when he was, drafted in the first round by the Carolina Panthers. Didn't really pan out as a wide receiver. Made the transition now to tight end. Beefed up, but also got strength and slimmed down at the same time. Used to be fat. Used to be gross weight. That ugly, not good fat weight to have for an NFL player. Now it seems like he's more just built out and larger, right? Like he bulked up. So it looks like better, healthier weight. So that's exciting. I'm curious to see what he does in training camp, preseason, all that. You see if he wins a roster spot, I'm pretty excited about what the Giants have at their tight end room. They've got a lot of capable guys and some really solid depth and some potential for Evan Engram to hopefully be a better player and break out this season. So easy drops, easy E, easy Evan Almighty, whatever. I'm excited to see what he can do this year, and I'm pretty positive on this Giants tight end room.
Easy INT, that's what we're calling him now. And when it comes to Engram, a lot of people are down on him. I completely understand why. The drops, interceptions, we get it. It is a problem. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that's not a major issue, because the Giants missed the playoffs because of him specifically. They also probably would have been nowhere close to the playoffs without him. He was really their only guy who could get open, create separation, and make some nice catches aside from his obvious drops. But the Giants just didn't have any playmakers last year. Like I said in the previous podcast, they had Austin Mack, a undrafted free agent, starting by the midway point in the year. When you have UDFAs starting at the midway point in the year, it's probably a good indication that you don't have much talent around your offensive scheme. And I think that Daniel Jones suffered because of it. And then the year before that, of course, we had John Hilliman, who was another UDFA, starting games against the Patriots, the best defense in the NFL. So 2 years in a row, not the best situation for Daniel Jones. He certainly had his fair share of struggles, but Evan Engram, he contributed a lot to those. And I think that when it comes to him, I would love to see the Giants push him out wide a little bit more. Last year, he played 284 total snaps in line, 121 total snaps in the slot, which I loved. I love when they push him to the slot and they use him in the seams and the spray fades outside, and only 39 reps on out wide. I would actually love to see the Giants run more plays where him and Galladay are the primary receivers on the outside, and they have Shep on the inside, and maybe Kyle Rudolph as the inline tight end. Doing creative things like that, giving him an opportunity to take on smaller corners. The NFL's a mismatch league. If you have a cornerback who's 5'10", and you have Evan Engram who's 6'3", plays like a basketball player, you can really throw him the ball and feel good in man coverage that he's gonna make that catch. Same with Galladay, who's 6'4". So I'd love to see them push him out wide, get a little bit more creative with Evan Engram, and don't let him sit down in the middle of the field where Daniel Jones is throwing fastballs. He was like, the guys like Corey Kluber, who had a no-hitter yesterday. The guy's throwing freaking fastballs, sliders, all up in the middle of the field, and Evan Engram just couldn't hold on to the football. Whether it's concentration drops, doesn't have strong enough hands, bad technique, bad fundamentals, whatever it might be, I don't give a crap. The fact of the matter is he couldn't catch the freaking ball, and it resulted in 6 interceptions, and that one that was out wide against Philadelphia, which is what kind of rotates in my mind every time I have a nightmare. It's just painful to think about. And I hope to see the Giants really look at Evan Engram and say, if he's going to be on our team, let's maximize him. The one play that comes to mind, the positive one, the drag route against Tampa Bay 2 years ago when he took it to the house, 75 yards. Those are the type of plays I want to see. Outposts, getting him to the sideline, quick outs. He has good hands on the outskirts of the field, and I want to see them pushing the seams with him because he's good at catching on the seams on vertical route concepts. So that's kind of how I see them utilizing Evan Engram. He's not the best blocker. He's not the worst blocker. I'd probably say he's an average inline tight end. And Kyle Rudolph is also not the most refined blocker, so don't think he's going to come in here and change the course of this running game. He's also an average blocker, more of a pass-catching tight end historically, but he's a little bit better than Evan Engram, so there is some upside in that category. He's coming off a serious knee injury, Kyle Rudolph, and he's been at OTAs in person working with the team, trying to get healthy for the start of the regular season. I love to see those healthy guys participating, and then the injured guys already there, trying to get healthy, trying to get ready. But Anthony, when you're looking at Evan Engram, do you think they should get a little bit more creative? I don't like the end arounds and the jet sweeps so much with Evan Engram. I'd rather use Joka, Kadarius Toney or Shep in those facets, or John Ross. I would like to stay away with Evan Engram on those because one time they tried it. It was a fumble against the Rams, I think. So let's stay away from that for now. Or maybe it was the 49ers. And let's go towards a different route. Let's push Evan Engram downfield, use him as a receiver, use him like you would have used Kyle Pitts. That's kind of how I'd like the Giants to use Evan Engram. And Anthony, how do you see the Giants utilizing him, and how do you think they can maximize his strengths before ultimately his rookie deal's up?
Well, off the bat, I have a really interesting stat for you guys to digest what Evan Engram really struggled with this past season and why the Giants just kind of weren't using him properly. Evan Engram is at his best when he's wide open, can make an easy catch and go. He cannot make a contested catch to save his life, basically. So here's the stats on that. In the 2020 season, he had 21 contested catch attempts. 21 contested catch targets is the statistic. He caught 4 of those, 19%. That's really, really poor. Throughout the entirety of his career, his contested catch percentage has only been a 32%. Low. He's not a dependable contested catch guy. In order for Evan Engram to make an impact, he needs to be wide open. So the Giants need to fabricate snaps for him. They need to formulate through the scheme ways to get him open, get the ball in his hands, and let him run with it. Let him run some good routes, get open, and then let him run. He gets open, he separates. He is a good receiver as a tight end. But if you want him to be that tight end that just sits down in the middle of the field and makes contested catches, you're using him wrong, severely misusing him. And that's what happened this year. Short, 0 to 9 yards. Evan Engram had 4 drops and 6 interceptions when being targeted from 0 to 9 yards. That's really, really bad. I think we all know that. And he had 14 contested catch opportunities in that situation as well, 0 to 9 yards. He only caught 3 of them. You go to 10 to 19 yards, he had 5 contested catch opportunities. How many do you think he grabbed? 0. He didn't catch any of them, and there was no interceptions on the long balls or the medium balls. Everything, all 6 of them, were between 0 and 9 yards of the line of scrimmage. What does that tell you? Giants fans, we need to see Jason Garrett utilize Evan Engram downfield. Get him past the 9 yards. Don't just sit him down 5 yards away from the line of scrimmage and expect him to make some contested catch, because clearly that's not his game. That is not what he's good at. He keeps dropping those passes. He can't make those contested catches, and it keeps leading to interceptions. So, Jason Garrett, when you have Evan Engram on your team, you do need to utilize him like the Falcons are supposed to utilize Kyle Pitts. You're supposed to get him out wide in the slot. Get him open. Like, don't just sit him down the middle of the field for linebackers to break on him, because he's not comfortable with that, and that's not his playing style. Kyle Rudolph, on the other hand, that's his playing style, and I think that's where he's going to be such a crucial signing for the Giants, because clearly the Giants love to have Evan Engram sit down in that 0 to 9 yard range, but he's not good at it. 69 of his targets were between 0 and 9 yards. He only had 9 deep targets and only 18 targets between 10 and 19. So the overwhelming majority of Evan Engram's targets were between 0 and 9 yards. And he really struggled between 0 and 9 yards. So clearly they're just misusing Evan Engram. Like, they just don't know how to utilize him, and they're gonna have to fix that next season. And it's funny because he was pretty good on the sidelines as well from that 0 to 9 yard range. It's just sitting down in the middle of the field where he really struggles. He just had 6 interceptions, 0 to 9 yards, all in the center of the field. No interceptions on the sides, pretty good completion percentages. To the left, 0 to 9 yards, 14 for 16, 106 yards on the season. That's pretty good. Clearly he can run some out routes. He can run some flat routes. But when you just sit him down in those hooks in the middle of the field, you're asking for trouble. You're asking for turnover-worthy plays. They got to stop doing that with Evan Engram. You start utilizing him downfield as a true vertical threat like he is from the tight end position. Start getting him to go on some deep outs, some deep ins, some posts, some corners, especially some corners. Then I think you get the most out of Evan Engram, and I think you turn him into a pretty solid player. But the way that the Giants have been utilizing him, not good for him and not good for the team. It has spelled a lot of trouble, and it led to a lot of turnovers this season. So going forward, I think that the Giants absolutely need to utilize Evan Engram in a different way, and the way that they were using him in the past, allow Kyle Rudolph to step into that role, because I think that's where his playing style fits. But really, going forward, Evan Engram, he's clearly got the talent. We've seen it. We've seen him go downfield and make amazing grabs. Think back to the Cincinnati game where he had 2 receptions of over 40 yards. Like, that was really, really impressive, and that's what he does best. He runs good routes, and he goes vertical. Stop sitting him down in the middle of the field 5 yards away from the line of scrimmage. It's boneheaded, it's really stupid, and it leads to turnovers. So going forward, Jason Garrett, please send him vertically. Have him run some pretty sophisticated routes. Don't just sit him on the hooks. Make that Kyle Rudolph's job.
Yeah, and if you look at his run blocking grades, he got exponentially better as the season went on. The first half of the year...
The Freddy Kitchens effect.
The Freddy Kitchens effect, but also just overall, the offensive line showed similar progression. The first half of the year was a pretty terrible half for everybody. The receivers, they kind of sucked the whole year. The tight ends, they got better. Obviously, Evan Engram got better in the blocking category specifically, but Daniel Jones got better the second half, prior to the injury, and the offensive line showed tremendous progress as the season went on, specifically Nick Gates and Andrew Thomas. Those 2 guys looked very good towards the end of the year. And I think Evan Engram experienced something similar, adjusting to a new scheme, no preseason, no in-person training. They needed that first half of the season to catch up, learn this system. A lot of teams that went into the season already understanding what they had to do, like the Pittsburgh Steelers, were phenomenal until injuries bit them in the butt. You know what I mean? Those teams that already understood their scheme. The only guy that really managed to skip all of it was Brady in Tampa Bay. Like, they managed to, and it took them half the year. That second half of the year, they were unstoppable. But that first half of the year, they were vulnerable. The Giants almost beat them with their crappy little squad on offense. If Daniel Jones would have hit those deep throws, the Giants would have beat them. And they only lost by like 2 points. So keep that in mind. The Patriots, Tampa Bay, even needed that first half to adjust and gather themselves. So I think the Giants showed tremendous progress in the second half at multiple positions. Evan Engram was one of them. Of course, the drops I'm not going to make any excuses for those. He's got to cut those back. This has been an issue since day one. It seems like it's never going to go away at this point. That's the problem that kind of is bubbling to the surface here. This might not be something that will ever go away, but you can avoid it because we know where they occur. We know they occur in the middle of the field. We know they occur 0 to 10 yards out. Avoid that zone at all times, and you can avoid Evan Engram dropping passes for the most part. Maybe 1 or 2 in other places on the field, but I think you can avoid them for the most part if you avoid that middle of the field section. But Kyle Rudolph, on the other hand, is a guy who hasn't dropped a pass in 2 years. He's a guy that's going to come in. He's the solution to Evan Ingram's problem. No one saw that signing coming. I certainly didn't. And then, bam, you have your guy to solve that problem that you have, because Daniel Jones' security blanket is always that curl hook around the middle of the field. He threw that so many times, and of course, that sample size that Evan Engram had, the guy was targeted a ton in that section. If you replace him with Kyle Rudolph, not only are you catching those passes, it translates to first downs, it translates to touchdowns, it translates to points on the board. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to make the offense more efficient with Kyle Rudolph there instead of Evan Engram. And then, of course, you have the additions of Kadarius Toney and Kenny Golladay to add on top of that. And Kyle Rudolph, I'm excited for his addition. I think he'll be fine. The foot injury, the Liz Frank injury can have lasting effects, but I believe he'll pretty much be over that by the time the regular season comes around. And I'm excited, man. Having two good tight ends to work with is a game changer in the NFL these days. You know, unless you have a George Kittle or a Travis Kelce, you need to have complementary tight ends, and or a Darren Waller. And I think that Kyle Rudolph and Evan Engram, one of them is a sit-down possession receiver as a tight end, and the other one's a vertical, 9-route type of pass catcher. He can attack the seams, attack the boundaries on deep throws, attack man coverage. He can get in. He's actually a pretty good route runner. Anthony mentioned this in a couple of videos ago. Very, very nice release package there. And the height of all these tight ends is something that stood out to me. The last year, Evan Engram was their tallest receiver at 6'3". Now they have Kenny Golladay at 6'4". They have Kyle Rudolph at 6'6". They have Evan Engram at 6'3". They have, if Kelvin Benjamin makes the team, at 6'5". Even Kadarius Toney is like 6 feet tall, 5'11". So he has a little bit of height, not much there. But I'll tell you what, the Giants added 3 big bodies who they can target as security blankets in the red zone, or also just if you're playing a West Coast dink and dunk, that have bigger wingspans. More room for Daniel Jones to target instead of these smaller receivers where he's trying to fit it into a tight window. These guys, he can throw it high, he can throw it wide, and they'll go in and get it, and they don't have to worry about a cornerback all over their back. So that's the positive of having big bodies, and they saw that. They were like, we need guys that have a bigger wingspan. We can't go on with these small guys. Daniel Jones just can't throw to them because they're not getting any separation. That's the ultimate goals here. So, Anthony, when you're looking at Kyle Rudolph, how do you think that they utilize those two guys in tandem, especially in the running game? What do you think this running game is going to look like with Evan Engram and Kyle Rudolph as a duo?
I love the way that these two players, their games really complement each other very well, and I have some statistics to back that up. I'll talk about the run blocking first. First of all, I think that Kyle Rudolph consistently throughout his career has been a pretty decent run blocker, but really more so in the second half of his career. With Minnesota, at the beginning of his career, he was kind of their receiving tight end. He really, that was the main thing that he did. He got open, and he was a really reliable receiver for them. But as his career went on, they said, okay, it's time for you to adjust and time for you to take on a bigger role. Last few years, he's been primarily their run-blocking tight end, which has been interesting for him. I listened to Kyle Rudolph's introductory interview with the Giants, and he was talking about that, how he really just recently transitioned to being that run-blocking tight end, but he's good at it, and he's always been good at it. He's just doing it more now, and he expects to, continue to do that, but also be involved with the receiving game with the Giants. So I think that the run blocking from the tight end position is going to be a lot better this year. I think that Evan Engram can learn some things from Kyle Rudolph, an 11-year veteran, 10-year veteran. And I think that those two can really work in tandem in the running game. But in the receiving game, like I said, I love the way that these two players complement each other. And I've got some really good stats here. So for Evan Engram, in his career, 4 years, 25 drops. Okay? Kyle Rudolph, his career, 10 years, 20 drops. Think about that. I mean, that's kind of insane. This is according to Pro Football Focus. You have Kyle Rudolph with 5 less drops on his career, and his career has been twice as long and then some. That's pretty insane. And then the other thing that I'm talking about with sitting down in the middle of the field, 0 to 9 yards, and making those catches, right? Kyle Rudolph is really good at contested catches. In the past 4 years, 5 years that is, PFF that only has the last 5 years for contested catches, his contested catch rate is 51.9% compared to Evan Engram's 32.1%. That's an exponential difference. And when you talk about reliability from the tight end position, you're talking about Kyle Rudolph. This is a guy who has not dropped a pass in 2 years, has some of the most firm and, sure hands in the NFL. He's a dependable tight end. And I have a really, really good stat that I'll pull up on his impact in the red zone, because Kyle Rudolph is really one of the best red zone threats in the NFL, or at least he has been throughout the majority of his career. So when you look back on Kyle Rudolph, 48 of his career touchdowns, he has 48 career receiving touchdowns. 40 of them, 83.3%, have come in the red zone. This dude is literally just a red zone threat. He literally just sits there with reliable hands, one hand, two hand, doesn't matter, makes the catches in the red zone. And then, of course, like I mentioned, those 0 to 9 yards, he's really reliable there too. Short center, 0 to 9 yards. He had a 93.1 receiving grade, according to Pro Football Focus this past season. He had 23 targets. He caught 20 of them. 0 drops, 4 contested catch attempts. He had 0 interceptions from the 0 to 9 yard range. That's the exponential improvement that you're going to get from that range. Those little hook routes sitting down 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. Kyle Rudolph, that's his bread and butter. That's what he does the best. And it's better than most of the receivers or tight ends in the NFL. Last season, he had 30 targets from the 0 to 9 yard range. He caught 28 of them. Think about the difference between that and what Evan Engram was doing with his 0 to 9 yards and the catastrophe that we had to envision when he was sitting 5 yards from the line of scrimmage getting fastballs to his brain from Daniel Jones. Kyle Rudolph will catch those, and he will catch them contested, and he will catch them consistently and not drop them. Evan Engram, on the other hand, he proved that that's not his game. He can't sit in that 0 to 9 yard range and do what Kyle Rudolph does. I love this signing. I think it's one of the most underrated signings of the offseason period for any team. I think it's going to have huge benefits for the Giants offense and Daniel Jones with the consistency and reliability that they have with the receiving option underneath. And I do think that it unlocks Evan Engram, allows the Giants to use him more downfield, and allows them to use him and play him to his strengths alongside Kyle Rudolph playing to his strengths underneath. Love the Kyle Rudolph signing. Think it's going to have great dividends pay off for the Giants offense, and I can't wait to see these two play in tandem and have their games complement each other in 2021.
Damn, bro. That was a preaching session if I've ever heard one.
Some good stats there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, if there was a church for football fans only, I guess if you go south there might be. There's just church for football fans. I think you would be the priest.
I might be.
You would be Priest Anthony, statistical master of the gods. Something along those lines, but you heard it here, man. Anthony just spit. He just pretty much spit bars. So that was his mixtape. That's what he's dropping on SoundCloud.
Holy water facts, baby.
Yeah, holy water facts, man. I mean, that was his SoundCloud mixtape. Basically, just dropped it for you guys. I was almost like dancing to it. I was in my head. I was like, damn, this is a nice song. That's a nice ring to it. He's like, dun, 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 just over and over again. Unbelievable little rant there. Very positive.
The Easy Drops mixtape. That's what it's called. The Easy Drops mixtape.
Easy INT's mixtape.
Yep, that's it.
It's a crappy mixtape.
Yeah,
I like the Easy Catches Everything mixtape.
Yep, good statistics on the mixtape though, as you just heard. So go stream that on SoundCloud.
It's not like one of those rappers who just like it's all about absolutely nothing. That's like J. Cole. That was like a J. Cole song. Like you gain something from that. Like I learned something.
Ugh, I don't like J. Cole, but
I hope you
rather
get
than
I hope you
Lamar
get flamed.
comparison.
Please. Well, I mean, I like Kendrick Lamar too, of course, but I can't believe you don't like J. Cole. For all of you New Yorkers here, if you know J. Cole, Forest Hills Drive, guy went to St. John's, the school I went to, please torch Anthony in the comment section because that was blasphemy. You don't like J.
He's
Cole?
He's not even from New York. He's from Carolina. No, I'm not the biggest J. Cole fan.
He is from North Carolina, but still.
I think he's really repetitive. I think he's very repetitive. I think he's
listen to the Forest Hills Drive album.
A little bit corny. I've heard it 100 times. I know it pretty well.
It's a story.
I think it's one of bro. Yeah, I've listened to other story albums. To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick Lamar. I think that's the greatest rap album of all time.
It is.
It's a concept story, but
counting that.
I just think J. Cole is a little bit repetitive and corny.
He's repetitive,
I'm not the
bro.
biggest
Have you heard these rappers these days, like DaBaby and Dahootie? I don't know, Duty. They all suck. They're all repetitive. It's literally the same beat.
That's different, though. That's different. When you claim to be some preachy, smart rapper like J. Cole does, you need to diversify and do more than you do and not just rinse and repeat the same thing every single time. That new album, The Offseason, almost every song sounded the same to me, except when he had some features come in and they changed up the flow. Like, I don't know, man. I can really go on. I'm not a big J. Cole fan. I like him. He's not one of my favorites, but I do like him. I like Forest Hills Drive and some other albums, but I'm not that high on him as most other people. I think that he's pretty overrated. But Kendrick Lamar, though, I think that he is the best rapper alive right now, and I think that he's one of the best of all time. I listen to a lot of rap music, a lot of old music too, but I think Kendrick Lamar's "Pimp a Butterfly" is my pick for the best rap album ever.
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. But go listen to like Flatbush Zombies from Brooklyn. If you're from Brooklyn, you know them.
I like Flatbush Zombies. Yeah.
Yeah. See,
I know rap music, bro. At least to some extent. I don't know. I don't know how well I know it, but I do listen to it a lot. I'm a big fan of the old guys, Nas, Biggie, You know, I listen to all that old New York rap. Wu-Tang Clan is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
You ever listen to Jay-Z? I think Jay-Z is the greatest rapper of all time.
You listen to Run the Jewels?
Yeah, I do. Actually, I like them pretty well. I think they're pretty good. I like them.
All right. Well, sorry for this going off track here. Honestly, that was kind of interesting. Talking a little bit about
that was fun
rappers.
Though. Yeah.
If you're in the YouTube section, or even on Spotify or Apple, let us know who your favorite rapper is. If you like rap,
let us know.
Or like maybe from back in the day, if you like Biggie or Nas, and
Yeah.
Any of those guys, really.
Or if you like old rock, let me know. You like Led Zeppelin?
Too.
That's my favorite band. I love Led Zeppelin.
I'm a big Guns N' Roses fan, and Red Hot Chili Peppers is my all-time favorite. I love Red Hot Chili Peppers. That's my favorite.
You look like a guy whose all-time favorite is Red Hot Chili Peppers, not going to lie.
What is that supposed to mean?
Tell me if you agree with me in the comment section. Does Alex look like a guy whose favorite band would be Red Hot Chili Peppers? That's just the vibes you give off to me. It's just the energy that you
That's
give.
Good. I guess that's a good thing because they're awesome. Screw you, bro. Screw you. Okay. Back to football. Sorry for a little rant there. I got off track because I wanted to get Anthony's perspective on those things. But tight ends. Let's talk about Kelvin Benjamin to wrap this episode up. Big boy, biscuit boy, Benjamin. 2 years off. Took 2 years off from the NFL. What do we expect from him moving forward? 6'5". Like I saw a couple videos. And I'll tell you what, he was moving. The guy was shaking and baking. He wasn't baking those biscuits, but he was shaking and baking those legs, and he was moving. So I'll tell you what, I think that there could be something there. I don't know if he can block, though. The Giants have him listed as a wide receiver, but I think they'll cross-train him at both. He's a big fella, 6'5". He's a big fella. You know what I mean? Like, he could go and play tight end, but I don't know if the guy's blocked anything in his life. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We'll see how that develops there, but you can't have enough big body receivers, right? I would be open to a position battle between him and Dante Pettis. Let the best man win. You know what I mean? At wide receiver. Tight end, is what it is. But Dante Pettis, like, he could have a future. Like, I could see he's young enough to have a couple more years left in his belt. But the Giants are so deep at wide receiver now after adding Tony and Kenny Golladay. Do you need Dante Pettis? Probably not. He's making a little bit of money too. So you could cut him. You could sign Kelvin Benjamin to a veteran minimum if he wins out. And you have a big body receiver who has a ton of experience and has succeeded in the past. Anthony, what are you thinking about that? Maybe I prefer him at wide receiver more than tight end because I can't imagine that guy can block at all.
All right, yeah. Before I give my take on Kelvin Benjamin, I got to say this. You can't make this stuff up. This is the funniest thing. May 14th, Popeyes tweeted, today is National Biscuit Day, May 14th. What day do you think Kelvin Benjamin tried out for the Giants? May 14th. Of course, Biscuit Boy tried out for the Giants on National Biscuit Day. You can't make that up. He's literally Kelvin Biscuit Boy Benjamin. I don't know. That's funny. I mean, not to make fun of him too much, but we've all seen the picture of when he came in really overweight at Panthers camp.
Well, he's a big
and all the
boy,
jokes
bro.
were that he had too many Popeyes.
Looked like someone took a
well, that was the joke, right?
Him.
That's so funny because Popeyes is the one who tweeted National Biscuit Day, and then he tried out, and Booger McFarland or whatever from ESPN, he said Kelvin Benjamin is one Popeyes biscuit away from being a tight end. Ultimately, on National Biscuit Day, he tried out for tight end. You can't make that up. That's hilarious. Booger said that 3 years ago.
That's the one thing Booger ever did right.
Yeah. Shout out Booger. That's the one. That's the one time.
Was literally a booger. He sucked. The booger mobile, that boogie mobile thing that would block fans as he went up and down the sidelines, and everyone was like, "Bro, he's flying. This booger is flying by me 50 miles an hour to catch up to the ball, and he's blocking all the fans."
Fun fact about Booger McFarland. His real name is Anthony.
So we're calling you Booger now.
Yeah, please don't. I actually will quit. I'll quit the podcast if you do that.
Damn, I was hoping you would be accepting of my new
Kelvin Benjamin, wide receiver, tight end. I think that he's good to sign on as either a wide receiver or a tight end because he's got a little versatility. He's been learning how to play tight end, and he knows how to do it now. I don't think that he's a great blocker because, he doesn't really have the experience doing that, but he has experience playing wide receiver, and he was really good at playing wide receiver at FSU, and he was decent enough in the beginning stage of his career. He got out of shape, and he wasn't so consistent, but he was decent enough. He made a lot of really nice contested grabs. Evidently, if you go think back to Josh Allen's first career touchdown pass, it was Kelvin Benjamin's final touchdown reception in the NFL since, he's left the league. he caught Josh Allen's first touchdown pass, which I think is pretty interesting. Really just a random, useless fun fact. But Kelvin Benjamin, man, he has made some pretty nice plays in the NFL in the past, and I think that he deserves a chance to be on this roster as a depth piece. If he can make his way onto the field, make some contested catches in the red zone, okay, good for him, and I will take that. If we can develop him into a tight end, cool. If not, then he's decent depth at wide receiver, because the Giants, you think about their depth at wide receiver, you think about guys like Dante Pettis and John Ross, speedy underneath guys, right? They're kind of shorter. They're like 6'1". They're not 6'5" like Kelvin Benjamin. All of the backups for us are short, speedy guys. Maybe it's not a bad idea to get a really big, tall, contested catch guy as a backup as well behind Kenny Golladay. God forbid Kenny Golladay goes down with an injury. We do need a contested catch guy to re-enter the lineup and fit the scheme. Maybe Kelvin Benjamin can be that guy. Who knows? If he can develop and stay in shape and have a good time learning the offensive scheme, potentially that's what you could see with Kelvin Benjamin. Like with each player that you have in your starting lineup, you should have a backup in the starting lineup that matches them, right? Like, so Kenny Golladay should be matched by potentially Kelvin Benjamin. Sterling Shepard matched by maybe Dante Pettis because he's a decent route runner. Kadarius Toney matched potentially by John Ross because he's a speed guy, right? So that's kind of what I see there and envision there. And then, of course, Kelvin Benjamin, being that he's a former receiver turned tight end, potentially, he could be potentially your backup for Evan Engram, who is your receiving tight end. So I think that it makes sense to have Kelvin Benjamin on this roster. He's got the connection to Dave Gettleman. That's probably how he got on this roster. But you know what? He went over to camp, did a tryout. Joe Judge came away impressed and said, let's sign him. And I trust in Joe Judge more than anybody in this freaking planet. So my full trust and faith is in Joe Judge. If he said that Kelvin Benjamin was impressive enough to get a contract, a one-year deal, prove it this summer with the Giants, then I'm totally for it. I agree with Joe Judge. I trust in him, and I'm excited to see what Kelvin Benjamin does this summer and if he ultimately does land a roster spot with the
Yeah, man. And the reality is, like, Benjamin, Gettleman said it himself when he drafted him. You don't find guys with hands as good as Benjamin's at 6'5". You know what I mean? You just don't find guys that often. He was a specimen coming out of FSU. He just lost a lot of speed. He ended up like Vince Wilfork running routes out there. So it was unfortunate reality after the Biscuit situation, but now I think he's cut some weight. He looks a lot smaller. He looks like he's back to normal size, which is really nice to see because when he was in shape, the guy was great. He is that possession wide receiver that you want. And if Kenny Golladay does go down, he does have a small bit of injury history. It's good to have a reserve guy like that. And maybe you cross-trade him at tight end. You have another option there, and you can put him in line as more of a pass-catching option. Like when you have a guy like Benjamin, he could be that middle of the field, in line, just sit down in the middle of the field and collect passes from Daniel Jones. He could be that guy. You know what I mean? If Kyle Rudolph were to miss time or anything like that. So he could fill two roles with one player, and that's kind of intriguing to me. He's not going to be much of a blocker, but if you're using him on pass snaps, he doesn't need to block. Maybe he'll chip or something, a defensive lineman, but that's about it. So I think I'm pretty optimistic, actually. I think Kelvin Benjamin has a decent chance of making this team. I'm not going to say he is going to make this team. I'm not going to say he's a good, like a shoe-in at all. But I'll tell you what, the guy has a purpose. He serves a purpose. And if they cross-train him, I could see the value presenting itself. And we already have 4 tight ends on the roster. They're going to let one of them go. It's going to be Toilolo or it's going to be Caden Smith. It's probably going to end up being Caden Smith. So you might as well replace him with Kelvin Benjamin on a rookie, or rather not a rookie, a veteran minimum deal. So you're paying him the minimum, same as Caden Smith essentially, and you're getting twice the value because he can also play wide receiver and possession. So I think that's actually a decent alternative for the Giants if they want to go that route. I think Toilolo, he's pretty much, I don't even know what he's really doing on the roster anymore. It's not a bad thing to have those, if you're doing 3 tight end sets, if you're really running the football hard, you're running power, and you want an extra body out there, Toilolo's your guy. He's a good run blocker. So maybe that's kind of how they visualize using him. But at the end of the day, he's not going to make much an impact as a pass catcher. So that's kind of the fault in his performance, in his qualities. But guys, thank you so much for tuning into Fireside Giants. As always, my friends, make sure to use that Manscaped discount code below, 20% off. And also a new feature we're adding to this channel, voicemails. So if you guys want to leave us a voicemail, if you guys want to interact with us, if you guys want us to feature them in the videos, which I am so happy to do, I want to get you guys more engaged and involved. we're gonna have the voicemail right on the background of the videos. You'll see it. It's pretty obvious. It's gonna be right in the middle, and you can call that number. It's a Google Voice, so it'll prompt you to leave a voicemail, and you can leave that. I'll get it. I'll put it in the videos. We'll answer your questions live for you, and I think that'll be a really cool way to interact and get you guys involved more with this channel and this Fireside Giants community. And I think that's going to be a fantastic thing moving forward, especially when the season comes along. And we have a lot of big plans. And of course, if you guys didn't hear yesterday, we want to roll out a simulation Madden game before each individual preseason and regular season game. So the idea is like we want to play a Madden game between the two teams that are playing. So week 1, Giants, Denver. I'll be Denver. Anthony will be the Giants, and we'll simulate the game. We'll post it on YouTube, see how close it is. If you can guess the score, or if you're closest to the score, we'll give you guys a giveaway or something like that. Just cool things that we'll make it interactive and fun for you.
Yep, and over the summer, I know a lot of people have, kind of commented in the comment sections and reached out to us on the Discord as well. If you're not in the Discord, you should join that as well. But a lot of fans, you guys have been asking for Madden Rebuilds as well. I'm setting that up. I'm going to start doing some rebuilds for you guys throughout the summer. That's going to be really exciting. And of course, when the new Madden comes out, Madden 22, whenever the heck that comes out, they haven't even released a trailer for it yet, which is kind of annoying. Supposed to do that by now. It'll be out in August. I will pre-order it, and I will do rebuilds as soon as that drops on the Giants or whatever other teams you guys want to see me do. I'll rebuild whoever. It'll be fun and it'll be interactive. You guys will have a say in the roster decisions, and it'll be a good time. We'll do some Madden rebuilds, and we'll diversify this content a little bit, and keep pumping out elite content for you guys. You guys want to see us play Madden? I've played Madden all my life. I love playing Madden, so I will play Madden with you guys and for you guys on the channel. It'll be a really good time, so stay tuned for all of that.
Yeah, and let's spark the debate now. I'm gonna kick the shit out of you in Madden, so keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out for the demolition of Anthony's heart and soul. Everything that he's made of, he's gonna be crushed. It's gonna be just a pair of shoes left behind. From
Alex is a funny guy. He's a very funny guy. He's a very funny guy.
I like to think so. I have my moments. Others, not so much.
In case you didn't know, we have played Madden on this channel before. Take a guess who won pretty handedly by a pretty wide margin.
I've been playing more lately. I've actually been in the league. I played like multiple seasons now. I'm a lot better. I will give you a good competition. I just won't be the Giants ever because I'll probably still lose. But you never know. Maybe I've gotten a lot better that you don't know. So we'll see how.
We'll see, man. We'll see. I'm excited to play you again on the channel and see how it goes.
Absolutely.
See if you have to eat another hot pepper.
Yeah, that I do not want to do that. I will win next time. I will lay it all on the field. I'll leave it all on the field. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Fireside Giants. Make sure to subscribe below on YouTube, Apple, Spotify for listening on those channels, of course. And guys, turn on that little ring. That was a little bell thing for notifications. We're posting every day. In the community, we're going to be doing so many cool videos, so much cool content. We're really going to get unique with this. We're going to get creative, fun, engaging, and we want to take this to another level that not many other content creators are doing right now. So we're really excited to unravel this new stage for us, and especially with having sponsor now, we have some more flexibility to do creative things and exciting things for you guys. So we're so excited, and I hope you guys have a fantastic Thursday. Enjoy a little drink for your boys at Fireside Giants. Enjoy Friday. The weekend's coming up. It's going to be beautiful weather. Have a nice day, and we'll catch you guys on the next video.